Welcome to The Cutting Edge. With conservatives gathering just outside of Washington this week for their annual Political Action Conference, questions loom at EPA as new Administrator Scott Pruitt makes his initial rounds. And with me today is E! News reporter Emily Holden, who has been covering CPAC this week and also everything that's been happening at EPA. Emily, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So, Emily, of course, the president spoke this morning at the CPAC conference. No huge news coming out in terms of our issues, but he did reiterate some key themes that we've been hearing about on the regulatory front, saying that he wanted to reduce regulations, but also stressing that he wants to protect the environment, also talking about Keystone and Dakota Access and bringing jobs back to coal miners. Did you hear anything new, anything of significance on our issues?
I don't think so. I think it was a lot of the same kind of saying we are going to bring back mining jobs. We're going to really bolster this industry. But I think as he signs these measures from Congress or issues his own orders on these issues, it's important to keep in mind that a lot of these regulation relief actions that he's trying to take for the industry are not necessarily going to bring back jobs.
And we're awaiting some major executive actions today, possibly Monday. We'll be watching for those. So in terms of the CPAC conference, you were there yesterday. There was a panel on fake climate news, which I know you were watching closely. What did you hear from the panelists? What came out of that? What was the crowd reaction like?
So this is something that usually happens at CPAC. These are people who have been vocal opponents of mainstream climate science for years. And I think this year they just really feel emboldened that President Trump is in the White House, and they think that that's going to give them a little bit more of a platform. And a lot of the audience attendees were asking questions along the lines of, how do I convince my family of this? How do I talk to my neighbors and friends? And one woman I spoke with was really interested in trying to get some climate skeptics to come into her teenage son's liberal private school to kind of present what she sees as the other side of the story.
Anything specific to the Clean Power Plan?
No, CPAC doesn't usually go into that specific level of detail. There was a lot of talk about, kind of promoting fossil fuels and from some speakers who feel that renewable power is not necessarily a good thing for consumers, though.
And so with control of the White House and both chambers of Congress, Republicans are really the main game in town right now. So what's the vibe been like at the Gaylord in Maryland?
Well, it's always a really energetic conference, but I think people are just very excited that they feel like they are being listened to again, and that some of their political strategies and some of their policy ideas could actually make it into law and be implemented.
So EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt is set to speak at CPAC tomorrow on Saturday, and he's obviously had a very busy week following his confirmation last week. How much do we know about what he'll say tomorrow? How specific will he get about actions that we're expecting EPA to take in the near term?
So I'll be there tomorrow, so we'll see. But so far we've been sort of still waiting on some executive action from the White House on fossil fuel development and on the Clean Power Plan, the climate standards for power plants. There was some talk that could potentially be today. I think it's looking a little bit more like Monday. And so until that happens, I would be really surprised if he gave any more specifics into what his agenda is. Like, those are things that he's kept pretty close to the vest. I think he'll probably continue doing that.
Yeah, and possible action on WOTUS as well.
Right.
All right, we will end it there. We'll watch it all this weekend as well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. More Cutting Edge coming next Friday. We'll see you then.